poet from today, by no means a stranger to the words I display. Prior to our journey, let us proceed with care. My initial itinerary is a vocal affair. I'm far from reticent. Of course, I'm quite loquacious, ready to engage in a history so spacious. All along this path, we shall review the past in a serious review that is destined to last. In the grandest houses where the former reside, the spacious halls imply a snobbish sort of pride. Albeit grand, the latter rooms, the cellars, are quite small, where the poor must vacate if they've nothing much at all. To set foot in a mansion is anything but common, contrary to the vacant spots where hunger is the omen. I infer from the shadows, and I assume you can too, that life was a struggle for the many, not the few. Barnaby, a lad with a dilemma quite severe, approached the Union workhouse with a reluctant tear. The circumstances were abysmal, the standard was low, an atrocious, substandard place where the desperate go. "Lack-a-day," he whispered, "it's more than I bargained for," as he hesitated at the heavy, oak-timbered door. Inadequate soup and a horrendous, dismal bed was the only last resort to keep the poor boy fed. Listen to the cacophony. The city's roar is loud, energetic and erratic. It pierces through the crowd. Hansom cabs and omnibuses never seem to cease, while the ear-sore of the traffic offers no release. As opposed to a car, there is a horse-drawn dispute over who owns the road in their soot-covered suit. Gabolahan and Barnaby dodge the wheels with a dash, as the iron-rimmed tires make a clatter-thud splash. The fashion is meticulous, an outrageous display, where the distinguished don their silk every single day. Lady Adeliza, unconcerned and quite superior, adorns herself in velvet, hiding all things inferior. "Stuff and nonsense," she cries, "I object to this lace," as she resists the tight corset with a pink, flushed face. The egotistical layers and the excessive design complement the exclusive way the wealthy people dine. For breakfast, there is water gruel, a thin and salty mess where a lack of sufficient salt adds to the distress. "May I have some more?" is the request Barnaby brings. But the sour-faced master only says the meanest things. They deduct from his portion if he dares to long for bread, while the rich eat roast mutton until they are overfed. "It's a rotten situation," Barnaby says with a sigh, as he watches a plate of golden puddings go by. "To work!" screams the master, for the cleaning never ends, as the relentless monotony of the scouring begins. Master Grimes is the boss of the chimney sweep crew, with a lackluster spirit and a tedious view. Day in, day out, the boys must not slack or delay, lest the grit and the grime never wash quite away. It's a day-long struggle, a back-breaking chore, as they scrub every inch of the cold stone floor. In school, the rules are rigid, and the silence is a law, to keep the children infantile and quiet at the core. Should Barnaby make an error or demonstrate a lack, Mr. Quillian will be livid and will not hold back. He will reprimand, admonish, berate, and rebuke, using words like exemplary as a linguistic fluke. "Be silent," he bellows, an earful of fury, as if he were the judge, the police, and the jury. "Are you for real?" I whisper, but the master turns his head, inadvertently catching me with the words I just said. It was an intentional sabotage, a big mistake to make, as he threatens to confiscate my notebook for his sake. The dunce cap is waiting, a badge of retaliation, to shun and to shame in this house of education. "I'll expel you," he shouts, quite incensed and petulant, as the punishment backfires on a student so hesitant. But when the holidays coincide, the mood is elate, with Christmas trees and oranges to pile upon the plate. They are enthusiastic, ecstatic, and bright, having postponed their worries for a single night, reminiscent of joy, with their bonnets in advance. At Easter they celebrate with a song and a dance. The festive scent of the goose is a wonderful thing as the bells of the city begin to ding-dong ring. For a birthday, a hoop and a stick is a prize, a precious possession in a young boy's eyes. They bicker and squabble, then they play with a cheer, though the time of life for a child is severe. "Are you for real?" asks Barnaby. "Is this toy for me?" "Of course," I reply. "It is yours, can't you see? It's a simple delight, a small moment of grace, earning a rare, happy glow on his soot-covered face." For play, they have cam toys, mechanical delights, automata that move through the long, wintry nights. Wind the key, and the soldier will start to proceed with an automatic rhythm and a clockwork speed. But should a gear malfunction or a spring sabotage, the movement will cease in a metallic mirage. It is akin to a miracle, indispensable and grand, to hold such a geared-up design in your hand. But shadows haunt the alleyways, where the sullen smog resides, and a notorious stench in the riverbank hides. The great stink is an eyesore, a wreck of a smell, where the rotten current makes the city a hell. To make matters worse, the environment will deteriorate as the heap of the coal smoke begins to accelerate. It is a bad omen, marred by the soot and the spray, the calm before the storm on a gray London day. Sickness is variable, inconsistent, and dire, adding fuel to the flame and a frost to the fire. The coughs are exacerbated by the smoke in the lungs as the great stink of the river fills thirsty tongues. Unfortunately, many are on the brink of demise with the peril of cholera in their distraught eyes. Lest they think twice, the disease will not falter, a dreadful circumstance that no one can alter. "Not so fast," shouts Ferrum, the officer of law. The final straw is a theft that he certainly saw. He will intervene, confront, and insistently query. "Under no circumstances will I let you be merry. To steal a loaf of bread is a big mistake to make," as the officer will protest for the law's very sake. "You're caught red-handed," he cries with a fury, adding insult to injury before any jury. The law can alienate the poor and cast them far away, to the colonies and hulks of oak across the salty spray. Consequently, the treadmill is a rhythmic, iron hell, where the prisoner must retain their strength in a cell. The sanction is severe, an irrevocable stake, a dire forfeit for any small rules that they break. "You're in the book now," Ferrum says with a sneer, as the jeopardy of prison brings a cold, sharp fear. But fortunately, furthermore, there's a light at the end, as people collaborate and begin to defend. They propose to prolong the progress of health, to do away with the filth and the lack of the wealth. Though it's back to square one when the systems malfunction, they start from scratch at every new junction. The outdated ways are a thing of the past, as the ultimate victory is coming at last. We live on borrowed time, my friends. Within this rhyming tale, I must reiterate the truth behind the iron veil. The Victorian age will wane and will fade from our sight. As I withdraw from the fog and the cold London night, I'll recall every detail, I'll recap and review the time of life that was harsh, albeit wondrous too. As I disengage from the past and I revert to my own, I'll keep the echoes of London in